Hello, welcome to the 1 to 11 podcast. I'm your host for this episode because we're taking a bit of a break from the Premier League for a special episode related to the Women's European Championships, which has finished very recently.
And very needed, because it was a breath of fresh air just in terms of the atmosphere around it, from attending the games. Obviously, it's fantastic them being local to us in England.
Exactly. And I think we just wanted to put it out there because I went to quite a few games. I think lots of people I know watched at home when they weren't going. It was it was very nice to be sort of in a WhatsApp group talking about the games. You know, are you watching this? Oh, Georgia Stanway just hit a fucking screamer. But it was, people were talking about England rather than England women, and it felt that it was a tournament where the game's gone mainstream, which it sort of threatened before.
Well, they did some things right. So the England women had their own kit, which made them England. It didn't make them the women playing in the England kit.
Yeah.
It was the presentation very cleverly referred to them as the Lionesses.
Yes.
Throughout the tournament, because then you didn't have the England women team. Yeah. Which I just felt, from nearly shitting myself out of surprise from the back heel against Sweden.
Yeah.
From Toon.
Yes.
Pretty much jumping up and doing a soo. That goal in the final, just what a journey, and what a fantastic kind of line in the sand for the women's game.
No, so I was very lucky. I applied. I got in at the start. I got a load of tickets in the sort of ballot. Unfortunately, the ones I didn't get was I was not allowed, but I went in for the ballot for the final, and I got rejected for the final. And then I got a couple of England games, which I didn't get tickets for, including the opener.
Not the first time he's been rejected by 11 women.
Hey! But, it all pales into insignificance because I was in Brighton one heady evening, I think it was a Tuesday, potentially, where England scored 8 goals against a team that went into the tournament quite fancied. And I'm not going to lie, I went off. I was most excited I've been in a football stadium, quite frankly. But so both of us have watched quite a bit of the football, quite a bit of the tournament. I wanted to pick my 1 to 11 for that.
I've not picked a 1 to 11 for this because I'm going to be completely honest. I got dragged into the hype. I started watching around quarter-final stage.
Yeah, fair enough.
And there was some fantastic women's football. I was lucky enough to attend the France-Germany semi-final with you, John.
To be fair, was my game of the tournament because it was 2 wonderful football teams just going at it. There was a lot of great defensive displays. The way that the Germans moved around, it was just brilliant to watch. And as well, the atmosphere. Like, I know that early on, some of the smaller stadiums got a bit of heat, basically for some of the teams were like, I don't want to play. Why am I playing at Man City? The Man City Youth Stadium, and there is something to be said, but I think mostly they got it right, and the ticket prices as well. They got that right to be, 15 quid to be able to watch one of the best games of football I've seen in a very long time. Was just amazing. So if it gets people into football, like last week, I had my niece round, and she spent 10 minutes in the garden trying to show me how to do back heels, because that's what she wanted to. That's sort of what's inspired her. So that was it was just really fun to think that actually, that's what Russo might actually get a 6-year-old, 7-year-old who's shown very little interest probably in sport,
other than knowing Daddy plays FIFA.
Yeah, to pick up a football, and she started picking up this football and showing me how to do a Russo. Is what she called it, which is just fun.
It was the perfect storm based on the weather in England at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the World Cup being delayed because of Qatar.
Yes.
If the World Cup was happening at the same time, unfairly, this probably would have been marginalised.
It would have been overshadowed. Even if it was, appearing like 2 or 3 weeks later, it just wouldn't have... the fact that it was the event of the summer was great.
I agree. I agree completely. So, I didn't feel I would be fair in giving a team. So I will hand over to you, John, to run through your team.
So, as probably isn't going to be much of a surprise, it's quite England and Germany heavy, because they were the best two teams in the tournament. But I've gone with a 4-3-3.
Okay.
And in goal, it's not an English woman or a German one. Mary Earps was brilliant, and the German goalkeeper, whose name escapes me, was also very good. Like, I think they both conceded 1 goal up to the final. But I went with Daphne van Domselaar, who was the Dutch goalkeeper, and wasn't a first choice goalkeeper going into, I think she's 22. She has 5 caps, which have come in this tournament. Basically, that she was brilliant. She plays for FC 20 in Holland, and just absolutely solid goalkeeper. But more than that, she produced some of the best saves in the tournament. And
one of the things that I really want to highlight, because I can't think of a better way to word it, so I'm not going to try. The Twitter knobhead.
Yeah,
would talk about the standard of women's keeping.
Yeah,
and the keeping standards in this tournament were far better than I've seen in a long time.
They were so professional, and it was so great that you were expecting basically edgelords to go, oh, the goalkeepers are, and especially von Damselaar. There's nothing that could be thrown at her. She was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's a shame for the Netherlands that I think COVID sort of played havoc with their team, especially through the later bits of the group stages. So Miedema, who
is one of the best players
missed quite more games than you'd expect because of COVID. A couple of players missed games, but they went out against the French, and it felt harsh on the team, because they were very great. They were a very good team to watch, and And Von Damselaar did very little wrong through the tournament. And yeah, the outstanding saves were by her. So, should we move into the defence?
Absolutely.
So I was tempted to go with 3 centre-backs, and I'll tell you why. Because I really wanted to put Millie Bright in, but I haven't found a space for her, which is... and she was so brilliant. I was willing to just drop the fullbacks to squeeze her in and fit. I'll fit some players in later. But Ona Battle, who is the Spanish right back, was so good that I couldn't really ignore her. A Man United player. I believe she left Barcelona to join Man United. Not a bad team, but was...
Man United have been putting a lot of investment into the women's game, which is really great to see because of the years they didn't.
Yes, it's taken them a while, but they're catching on. She was very, very good. And I think in a sort of a tournament, everyone expected Lucy Bronze to be the standout right back. I thought Battle was brilliant. I saw her live a couple of times, and she was just marauding, just brilliant to watch. I'm going to move into the centre now, and no space for Millie Bright, who was repelling everything it seemed. But Marina Hegering from the Germans,
from seeing her live, an old-fashioned centre-back.
Yeah. But, just an absolute wall.
You will not get past her. She's very strong in the air as well. Just an old-fashioned centre-back, essentially.
And I partnered her with Leah Williamson, who is not a centre-back effectively. So Hagerberg's from Wolfsburg, Williamson's from Arsenal. For those of you who don't know, we record this near Milton Keynes, where Williamson's from. So when I'd go to the pub.
She's one of our own.
Exactly. So everyone, I used to go to the Midsummer Tap in Milton Keynes to watch the games, and everyone was wearing Williamson's shirts. It was quite cool, apart from me. Because I did order an England, I like the away one, and it arrived the day after the final.
Yay.
Thank you post-COVID shipping. But Williamson, being a midfielder, she was very good defensively, but was able to link defence to midfield and help the midfield be as effective as they were. And of course...
a Deschamps-style role.
Exactly. And especially in games against Norway, where they were just attacking, there was no need for a sort of more a traditional centre defender. It was just someone to bring the ball out and start attacks, and she was so good at that. In left back, I've got Sakina Karshouai. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but the French left back.
Very, very good from seeing her live.
Yeah. She was, once again, very much like Battle, an absolute just dynamo. Always going forward. I think especially because the French player was a wing back. She was just you were seeing her in attacking positions more than you were seeing her defensively, really. Playing for PSG, who obviously are a great
juggernaut
French of women's football, joined from Lyon. That she has a She has a pedigree, and no, she was absolutely brilliant. The semi-final was actually one of her weaker games because I think the German tactics exposed her
Love of the overlap.
her defensive. Well, the way she was going forward so often, but throughout the tournament she was absolutely brilliant. So I just couldn't leave her out, and because of how brilliant she was and battle, I couldn't fit Millie Bright as a free person defense. But in midfield, I've got at the base. I've got Kira Walsh, who has just been an absolute joy to watch throughout the tournament, taking the ball from the defence, and some of the balls she plays are like I'd love to have half the vision that she has and the ability, but it's just incredible. And just that ability she has to find the attacking players in space. It's just brilliant to watch. She's plays for Man City. In front of her, I've got Lena Oberdorf, another Wolfsburg player, who
just added industry in the games I'd seen live, and obviously within the final, she was doing what was trying to unsettle the English players with a bit of muscle. Just like every great team needs a bastard.
She's a shithouse.
Yeah,
absolute shithouse.
She was the Busquets. She was the Roy Keane. She was the unsettling element of the other team's plan.
The best thing I always like is people who sort of Fernandinho is an example. That at times they look anti-football, but as well they can play. So they're both anti-football and incredible footballers. And Lena Oberdorf is that. She will unsettle midfielders, but she can. She's just very good. And in front of, next to her, I've got Bonmatí, who from the Spanish team. Barcelona obviously don't have bad players at the moment, and she was wonderful to watch. The best player on the few games I saw is just a Rolls Royce of a footballer, quite frankly. So I was basically the first name down on my team sheet because she was absolutely brilliant. My front three, two of them are very obvious and sort of fit. Another one I've sort of thumbed in because I couldn't leave her out. So the obvious ones, Beth Mead, Arsenal, sort of in the right wing, the joint top scorer of the tournament, and was deadly. Quite frankly, under Serena Wiegmann has just become an absolute stable of the Lionesses, and long may it continue because she was absolutely brilliant. And at the head of the attack is Alexandra Popp.
I feel it was a bit of a shame that she got injured in the warm-up for the final.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. For someone who's had injury problems, like she was in how late she pulled out was, she was in the team photo, yet she still didn't make the start of the game. Like, that is horrific. And I remember talking to, because I watched it in Leeds, the final, because I went to watch a Leeds game, and they put it on beforehand, and you know when Ronaldo 98, you're sort of like, are they going to play? Suddenly, like there was this rumbling through this because it was quite a large crowd watching it outside Ellen Road, and all these people going, "Is she going to play?" They've said that she's not going to play, but because it was all up in the air, like, oh, but unfortunately, like she couldn't make it. And it's for England. I guess as well, it probably it disrupted their preparations because you plan on I guess you have a plan to stop their best player.
Yes.
And suddenly she's not there, and you have to change how you're going to play. But it was a shame for not only for her but for the tournament as a whole that basically the best forward in the tournament wasn't able to make the final. And on left wing, I've got Aslani, Kosovari Aslani, the Swedish sort of attacking midfielder, playing for Real Madrid. She was just, once again, is a Rolls Royce of an attacker, very, very skillful, very, very creative, and I just enjoyed watching her immensely. And yeah, so that's my 1 to 11. It was strange because going into the tournament, I sort of expected to be creating this team with like Pernille Harder, Ada Hegerberg, Katoto, who they basically never left the group stage, either by not qualifying or getting injured. But Miedemar, who obviously spent most of the tournament with COVID, it's been brilliant being able to watch players who sort of were slightly off my radar emerge, and hopefully, if you're listening to this, you've got plans to watch some WSL games, because it'd be a shame to let this momentum drop. And I can see Arsenal, Tottenham's basically almost sold out the Emirates.
Which is wonderful.
Brilliant.
Absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely brilliant. So I know I've got some plans to go watch some WSL games coming up. But yeah, my 1 to 11 is Von Damselaar in goal, Battle, Hegering, Williamson, and Karshwai in the defence, Walsh, Oberdorf, Bonmati in midfield, and then up front, Mead, Aslani, and Pop. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the tournament, if not as much as me, approaching as much as I did. And
I'm excited for WSL.
That's it. Hopefully, it's going to be start our. If it hasn't pushed out your love of women's football, it's going to get hopefully we'll see more of it on TV. We'll see just
take up in schools. We'll see
exactly. This is quite a huge moment for it, because I didn't realise that girls weren't playing football in schools. So it's huge. So let's not waste this.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but this is just a slight break from the Premier League. We'll be back to normal service very soon. But yeah, we just wanted to get this in. So thank you for listening. Of course,
and as always, yeah.
If you disagree and you think actually,
how dare you not include Lucy Bronze?
Yeah, Mary Earps was the best.
Renard was an unstoppable wall.
I mean, she was, but she also, she should score more with her head. And she's, but that's,
everybody is welcome to their opinion.
Everyone's welcome to their opinion. And we can find us on Twitter at the 1 to 11 pod, Facebook at the 111 Pod, and on Instagram at the 111 Pod, and our email is in the show notes of whichever platform you're listening to. But until then, until our next episode, we just want to hope you enjoyed the Women's Euros, and we'll be back soon.